always glad to have citizens join us here in council chamber, and we welcome those who are watching on HCTV. We begin our meeting tonight with an invocation and pledge of allegiance led by Councilmember Jim Sutton. If you would stand for both of those events, please.
All right, please join me in prayer. Lord, it's been 9 days that we've entered into 2006. We thank you for life and breath that you've given each one of us in this room and this community that can hear what we're doing. Thank you for your provision to us. Thank you for your blessings to us. Lord, I thank you for lots of good news that we've already received. I thank you in reading in the paper about the unemployment rate going down in Haltom City. And it's good to know that there are some family, friends, and neighbors that are now able to earn a living. And I thank you for that, Lord. I know that while we're enjoying these blessings and these provisions here in Haltom City, there are others that are making a sacrifice on our behalf. I think of the military in Iraq and around the country around the world that are defending peace, defending America, and fighting the war on terrorism. Father, I pray you'd be with them and their families. Be with those especially that have suffered loss, so that we might have these provisions, these blessings that you've given us, Lord. And here, closer to home, Lord, I thank you for those that have entered into work for the city on our behalf, for our safety and our welfare, our police and our firemen. Thank you for them, Lord. And I pray that this year would be a good year for them, that this community would grow in their trust and appreciation for the work that they do. Father, I thank you so much for this new year. And I pray, Lord, that this community would grow in love and trust and hope of your purposes for this community. And I just pray, especially now that we have need for rain, that you'd grant that to us. We pray these things in your name, Jesus. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a presentation to be made at this time by Marilyn Ackman with Atmos Energy Corporation. Ms. Ackman?
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the council, my name is Marilyn Ackman. I'm a public affairs manager for Atmos Energy, and I'd like to thank you for allowing me this few minutes to talk to you and to the citizens who are watching at home about the high cost of natural gas and how it's affecting your gas bills. If you have natural gas at your home, you've probably noticed that your bills are much higher this year than they were this time last year, even though maybe your consumption, your usage is about the same. And that's because the cost of natural gas is so high right now. It's not because we've raised our rates. Many people automatically think when they get that high gas bill that the gas companies raised their rates. The only increase was the 29-cent customer service charge. The customer service charge is now $9.29, and that increased by 29 cents last year. So that's the only increase in the bill. What you see is the cost of gas. It's indicated on the line on your bill called Rider GCR, and that's the gas cost recovery line. When you see that, it will give the total consumption and the dollar amount per unit. Per MCF is the unit. So look at that line. The figure there will tell you what we had to pay for the gas that we deliver to you. This month it's around $13 an MCF. This time last year it was around $6. So there's a big difference. Even if you're just using the same amount of gas, your bill's going to be higher. So we encourage you to take a look at your bill. Our profit is built into the customer service charge and the consumption charge. We don't make any money on the cost of gas. We pass that along to our customer. We're regulated by the Railroad Commission, and they examine our gas purchasing practices to make sure that we're prudent in the gas that we buy to deliver to you. We want to make sure that we get the best price for the gas, but we also want to make sure that we have the gas available to deliver to you when you need it. When it turns really cold, we want to make sure that we have enough gas so that you'll be able to heat your homes. So it's like when you go to the gas station and buy gas and you see that it's gone up. They had to pay for that gas, and we have to pay for the gas that we deliver to you. And we don't mark it up. We're not allowed to do that. Even though there's not a lot that we can do about the cost of gas and what we have to charge for it, there are some things that we encourage our customers to do to help lower their bill. One thing we encourage is budget billing. It doesn't lower your bill, it doesn't save you money, but it evens out or it levels out your bill so that you have a better idea each month what your bill is going to be. You can go to our website or you can call the call center number on your bill and sign up for budget billing. So we strongly recommend that all of you do that. And then there are some things that you can do around your house. Weather stripping, insulation, just turning down the thermostat. Turn it down a couple of degrees, and maybe when you get a little chilly, put on a sweater or a jacket. Turn the thermostat down on your hot water heater. We recommend that you don't turn it any more than 120 degrees, and you'll still have hot water, and that will save you some gas usage also. Our customers are given an opportunity to contribute to energy assistance. On the back of your bill, if you'll look at it, you'll see you can check a box and indicate an amount per month that you can donate to energy assistance. It's called Share the Warmth, and we participate with over 2,000 agencies statewide. Here in the Tarrant County area, we work with Catholic Charities, and we give that money that our customers donate to Catholic Charities, and they use it just to help customers who need help paying their gas bill. Atmos Energy also matches part of that money, so your dollar does go to good use if you're so inclined to help with energy assistance. I'd be happy to answer any questions if any of the council members have questions, but what I want you to remember when you see your bill is we didn't raise our rates, and hopefully the cost of gas will be going down.
Okay, any questions for Ms. Ackman? Okay, I do have one. I want to be sure I understood something you said a moment ago regarding the cost of gas and the recovery and how that fluctuates. Mm-hmm. So on a given billing cycle, the cost of that gas at my house could be X number of dollars. The following month, it can be
change.
More or less.
That's correct.
Does it fluctuate on a daily basis as far as what you charge?
It's on a monthly basis.
On a monthly basis.
And we file that with the city. We mail that to the city every month. Probably goes to the city secretary's office. So you'll know what we'll be charging for, I believe for this next month, it'll be $12. So it did go down a little bit. But for the month of December, it was $13.
Okay.
So yes, it will. In November, it was $15. This month, it's $13, and yes, it does fluctuate based on what we have to pay for the gas.
Kind of a supply and demand issue. Okay.
Right.
Members of the council, any comments or questions for Ms. Ackman? I believe they're not. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We appreciate the information you brought to us. Very important to all of us.
Yes.
Here as we're trying to keep warm and pay our bills. So thank
Thank you
for being here tonight. Okay, we move now to announcements and events, and we begin with our Public Information Director, Ms. Fran Burns. I believe she has a number of announcements that will be of interest to the citizens of Haltom City.
Yes, I do. Thank you, Mayor. The first item I'd like to announce is a very exciting program that's going to take place this Saturday from 2 until 4. That's January the 14th at the library. It's called To the Moon and Beyond Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter. And this is a program that was designed by NASA to educate kids about space exploration and what's going on at the current time in the programs that NASA has. And there'll be all kinds of information that they'll be sharing with the children, but there'll also be hands-on activities so they can actually practice some of the things that they've learned. And even if you're not a child, you're welcome to come and experience this new program. And the reason it's it's very exciting for us is because this is the first time it's ever going to be presented anywhere. So it's a pilot program that's being presented at the Haltom City Public Library. And kudos go to the staff there, and especially Allison Long, who's the outreach coordinator, for her efforts in this area. That's 2 to 4 this Saturday at the library. Next week, on January 17th, that's a Tuesday, there'll be a blood drive. The Carter Blood Care Center will have their blood mobile in the library parking lot from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. And so anybody that is able and willing to give blood is more than welcome to stop by. Also that day at 6:30 at the library, there'll be a mystery book club meeting, and that is at 6:30, Tuesday, January 17th. On behalf of the Fire Rescue Department, they are soliciting participation in a new training program for CERTS, which is Community Emergency Response Team. People that are part of this team would be called upon in the event of a disaster, whether it be weather-related or not. This program has been used in other parts of the country and been very successful. In the event of a large emergency, it's hard for people that are in the emergency response area, paid staff, to be everywhere. So these people will be trained to kind of be assistants during those times. And I understand it's a very interesting training. If anybody's interested, you can call Central Fire Administration at 759-8660 or visit the website. We're still under a water conservation plan voluntary at this time due to the lack of rainfall and high incidence of water demand and the decreasing water supply. So residents are still being asked to follow a 5-day outdoor watering plan. There was a flyer that was mailed to residents of Haltom City that detailed how that plan works. I understand that some people in the community did not get a copy of this. I'm not sure why they were not delivered to some people, but if you want a copy of this flyer, you're welcome to call City Hall or stop by and pick one up. Also, I understand there was some problems with the newsletter this past month, and its delivery. And again, we have several copies here. If anybody needs to get a copy, they can call. We'll mail one out, or you can stop by and pick one up. I want to thank everybody that participated in the Christmas tree recycling this year. We, again, used the property that belongs to the Haltom estate, which is next to McDonald's on Belknap Street, for people to drop off their natural holiday trees. And the last batch of trees will be mulched this month. The mulch will be available through Thursday on site, and if anyone drops material after that date, then you're actually considered illegal dumping, so please keep the lot clean. And if you need some mulch other than past Thursday, J. Davis Tree Service has mulch available during business hours Monday through Friday, as much as you like, as much as you can carry away, because they have lots and lots of it at their site at 4206 Broadway Avenue. Our community calendars are free and available still at the municipal buildings, and so if you haven't got one, please pick one up. And also, due to requests from the community, we are taking names of people who are interested in purchasing an engraved brick to be placed in public areas. More than 5 years ago, when Haltom City celebrated its 50th anniversary, the city sold bricks to individuals interested in memorializing an event or person. These were installed in a courtyard on the west side of City Hall along Field Street. And because we've had inquiries again, we are, as I say, taking names. The price of the bricks are $30. And those interested can call me here at City Hall. We need an order of at least 25 bricks to be taken before we can purchase them and get them installed. They can be installed here at City Hall and also at the Nancy P. Watkins Animal Care and Adoption Center. There will be a severe weather seminar conducted from 9 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. Saturday, January 28th at Pascal High School in Fort Worth. Sponsors include NBC 5 at Channel 5, Fort Worth ISD, and the Fort Worth and Tarrant County Office of Emergency Management. Topics offered are weather safety and preparedness, information flow, review of recent devastating storms and their impact. A basic storm spotter training class will be offered in the afternoon. And the last item I have is the photo contest. The Images of Haltom City photo contest deadline is coming up. It's less than 3 weeks away. It is January the 31st. Entry forms are available on the city's website under online forms, or you can pick them up at City Hall or at the library. I have some outside the door here this evening if anybody's interested in picking one up. And that's what I have.
Okay, one question before you're seated, Ms. Burns. All of these announcements are very important to the citizens of Haltom City, and that's one reason we ask you at each one of the meetings to present those for the benefit of those who are watching. Are all of these posted on our website?
Yes, sir, they are.
Every one of them. Okay. Councilmember Lanford and then Councilmember Reese.
Thank you, friend. I just wanted to clarify something about the mulch that citizens could pick up. I think you said that was available at Broadway. Used to be at Belknap, and
I'm sorry. I'm at Belknap.
Okay,
It's
all
next
right.
to McDonald's on Belknap,
I just want to
sir.
clear that up. Thanks.
Uh-huh.
Councilmember Reese.
I'm just making sure you remember.
Okay. I overlooked her last time, and she don't want to be overlooked this time, and appropriately so. So, Councilmember Reese, I believe you have an announcement to
I
make.
have two. The first one is, and I'm doing a little bragging. Bill got to do it about a month ago. My daughter is a Haltom High cheerleader, and we just completed NCAA championships. And the girls placed 10th out of 15 on a 2-day ordeal over at the Dallas Convention Center. So I want all the girls to know, we're moms and dads, grandparents, whatever. The girls did a great job. And I can share pictures if anyone's ever interested. I got bunches. And then I have one other thing. I mentioned it to Tom Friday. My house is a really big Texas fan house, and I was wanting to recognize our Texas National College football team, Texas Longhorns. And my son and my daughter-in-law have brought up gifts for everyone up here on the dais. So I'm going to have them come up and start passing them out. And guys, if they're a little big, I'm sorry. I just kind of threw sizes and numbers and just went with it. So I'm going to end it with hook 'em horns.
Councilmember Bransom, you have a comment to make regarding?
To the hook 'em horns, I do. Being a Texas Tech grad and guns up, I will acknowledge that UT did serve the Big 12 well this year, and unfortunately Tech lost on the ugliest field goal ever in college football. But you guys just wait till next year. Texas was the real deal this year. We'll see if y'all can hold on to that without your quarterback.
These council meetings are intended to be nonpartisan, but I see that
We're talking college football, and those are a tad bit partisan.
okay, thank you very much. Okay, I believe that's all of the announcements and the events on our agenda tonight. We'll go ahead and move to our monthly financial report for November 2005. And here to present that is Mr. Joel Welch, our Director of Finance.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council members. Enclosed in your agenda packet is the monthly report for the fiscal year through November 30th. I just will point out three things very briefly that are of particular interest. The first thing is that property taxes are coming in a little bit faster than we originally had projected. It doesn't mean we'll collect more this year, but it does mean with the money in our coffers already, we will be able to invest that money and earn a little bit more interest than we would have. The second thing is sales tax remains strong. Our collections through November are about 15% ahead of the same time frame last year. The overall economic health of our city is quite good. The third thing is water sales continue to reflect the very mild and dry weather that we have, and it has had a major impact upon the water and sewer fund through the first couple of months of the year. And then finally, I'll mention that on the expenditure side of the house, everyone is pretty well in order. We're overall within our budgets, and other than a few items I pointed out in the executive summary, there really aren't any issues.
Councilmember Bransom, you have a question or comment for Mr.
Well,
Wells?
actually, I do have a comment, and Joel, if you mentioned it, I missed it. I understand the city got a Christmas present in December from some tax collections down on Beach Street.
I think she's talking about Medtronic.
And
Oh,
I thought
I'm
maybe
sorry.
I thought maybe you might want to share that. I think I just picked it up one afternoon when I was up here, and maybe others don't realize, because that was a pretty nice Christmas present.
Well, we don't actually have that in the coffers yet. We've just found out about that. That MBIA, who we have contracted with for the past nearly 3 years to perform sales tax audits in the city, discovered that Medtronics indeed has been paying the sales taxes for the sales at the Beach Street plant to the city of Fort Worth. And so we will be seeing from the state a rebate of a rather healthy amount. We are guesstimating at this point possibly as much as $250,000. And we don't have it yet, but we should be getting it. And so that's what caught me off guard, is we don't have it yet, but we did know about it.
I'm sorry. I just considered that a gift from Santa.
And that also, that turns out to be the gift that does keep on giving, because it's at that level that's about, in the moving out to the future, about $80,000 to $85,000 a year.
Thanks, and thank them for finding that too.
That is good news. That's a good Christmas gift. We'll take $250,000 each year at Christmas time. Councilmember Sutton.
Yeah, real quickly, I notice our portfolio interest yield is going up, going the right way, but we're still underperforming to the benchmark. Do you have any projections of when we may get closer to that 4.1617?
I believe that, of course, the benchmark is continuing to move up every month as well.
That's right.
So I'm chasing a moving target. But we have some old investments that we made a couple of years ago when rates were lower, and they were good investments at the time. At the time we bought them, that was the market. As these instruments mature, and they will be maturing, a great deal of them will be maturing starting in August and on through the rest of the year. A lot of those are going to go away, and you're going to see the portfolio begin to catch up with the benchmark then.
Okay, any further questions or comments for Mr. Welch regarding the monthly financials for November 2005? That's only the second month of our 12-month cycle in our
Yes,
fiscal year. So it's still a little early to come to a real clear conclusion on a number of things, I would assume.
Yes, sir. What I normally do as a practice when I begin to do projections is I begin doing them after I have 3 months of data. Right now, what you see for projected end of year, which it says projected year to date, just like it did on the economic development, we're going to be changing that on this as well. What I leave in there for the first quarter, or the first approximate 3 reports, is the adopted budget, and then starting after I have 3 months of data, I begin to make projections based upon known factors at that time.
So far, it looks good.
Yes, sir.
The packet you gave us, the information, we've had an opportunity to digest that a little bit and ask you a few questions regarding that. So it looks good, and our citizens should feel good, I think, about what's happened so far this fiscal year.
Yes, sir. The department heads have been very faithful stewards
Okay.
of their appropriations.
Thank you, Mr. Welch. I'm in line for a motion now regarding approval of these financials. Councilmember Reese and then Councilmember Sutton.
I move to approve the monthly financial report as Joel stated.
Councilmember Sutton,
That's for a second.
Councilmember Hutchison for second. Have a motion and a second to approve. If you will, register your votes, and I will display them at this time. And that is a unanimous vote of the council to approve. Items number 2 and 3 on the agenda are consent items. This is the minutes from the previous meetings and also the purchase of an animal control vehicle. These items are considered to be self-explanatory, and they'll be enacted by the council with one motion. And I'm ready at this time, members of the council, to receive a motion regarding your wishes on the consent agenda. Councilmember Holcomb and then Councilmember Hutchison.
Thank you, Mayor. Move to approve consent as posted.
Motion to approve, Councilmember Hutchison.
Yes, sir, that would be for a second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. If you will, register your vote, please. And that is a unanimous vote in support of the motion. Item number 4, moving right on into our regular agenda, is a public hearing regarding a proposed budget amendment. And Mr. Muir, Mr. Welch, you're going to make this presentation, and this is a public hearing. And in a moment, members of the audience will be given an opportunity to make comments regarding this budget amendment as well as ask any questions.
Thank you, Mayor. Enclosed in your packet is an ordinance for your consideration. The purpose of which is to amend the fiscal year 2004-2005 budget for some activities that occurred that caused the appropriations at the fund level to increase above the amount previously appropriated. We provided you a list in the ordinance of the funds that needed an additional appropriation to complete them. And in the text, we've provided an explanation for each fund. I will say that the total amount of the adjustment is $120,000, approximately one half of which was was in the capital projects for the completion of the recreation center. The remaining half, a lot of the remaining half, involved appropriations out of the donation funds, where we don't adopt budgets for them. We go to the council and we ask for permission to make expenditures out of the donation fund, and then come back later with a budget amendment to go ahead and codify those changes. And that's what we're doing with a lot of the other changes. And then there was a couple of funds where we're asking for some additional money to pay for sales tax audits, which has brought us some of the results that we were talking about earlier.
Okay, for the benefit of our viewers at home, just to summarize in a nutshell, what we're doing tonight is just a housekeeping item required when we spend more money than we budgeted in some specific areas, and have to go back and amend the budget by ordinance, and that takes a couple of readings. One of them is tonight. So before I open the public hearing for members of the audience to speak on this, members of the council, do you have any questions or comments for Mr. Welch on this item? Okay, there being none, I'll open the public hearing at this time. Do we have anyone in the audience who wishes to make comments regarding this proposed budget amendment or ask questions of Mr. Welch? Yes, Jim, yes, if you will, come on up, give us your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Jim Moore at 4917 Medela. On the $60,000 for the wreck, was that for completing on some of these damages that were done that the contractors or general contractor was not liable for, or just some additional stuff that was built?
It was for like bleachers, and these are additional items that were that the EDC was actually going to fund out of the 0506 budget. But instead of waiting for 0506, we went on ahead and bought them in last fiscal year, and we'll charge it back to the EDC. But it is not to fulfill items from the contractor.
Well, have any of those liability issues, has any of that been settled yet? Has the city paid to finish all that, and are we going to have to sue the contractors, or is that?
I am negotiating that.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else with questions or comments during the public hearing on this item? There being none, I'll close the public hearing at this time, and we'll move then to a motion from the council regarding the wish of the council on this first reading of this ordinance. Councilmember Clark and then Councilmember Lanford.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I make a motion we approve ordinance 2006-00103 as presented.
Councilmember Lanford.
That's for a second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. Do we have any discussion on the motion? If you will, register your vote, please. And the board shows a unanimous vote in support of that motion. Item number 5 also is a public hearing having to do with the Community Development Block Grant Project. And Mr. Muir, you want to
Mr. Fain will be presenting this to the council. Excuse me.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Before you is the 32nd year of the Community Development Block Grant Program. And this year, staff recommends that funding for the Community Development Block Grant will be for the reconstruction of Woods Lane. The city has been involved with this CDBG program for many, many years, and as an example, some of the projects in the past have been Catalpa, and also Gage, Joy Lee, and most recently this past year, although we're not under construction, but it has been approved and we're in a design phase of overlaying Parish and Salona and adding playground equipment to those particular areas in town. So anyway, before you is this year's grant proposal. It does require that the mayor hold a public hearing, and after the public hearing, staff does recommend that council consider approving Resolution R 2006-001-11. Do you have any questions?
Mr. Mayor, any comments? Members of the council, any comments or questions about this item? Okay, Mr. Fain, I do have one question before you get too comfortable. When we're approving this tonight, and I know there's a timeline, this is going to happen sometime in the future. When will dirt start turning on this? A year from now?
That's a good question. I don't know if I can answer specifically, Mayor, but the county oversees the CDBG funding, and they will let the projects in September. Then after September, we'll hire an engineer to do the design, and that usually takes about 6 months. So what would that be? March of next year?
Of 07.
We could hopefully bring back to the council an award for a bid to do the construction of Woods Lane.
We've really done a lot of good for the benefit of our citizens with the use of these community development block grants over the last few years. We've made remarkable difference in a number of our streets and other things, and much of that has occurred down in the southern part of our city, which has some very special needs.
Yes, and it's a good point, Mayor, also that each project must meet, as we know, certain criteria, and the objective is to serve the low to moderate income citizens in our community, and a lot of it is located in our southern sector.
And if I read the information correctly, with regard to what is the city is proposing here, that's a complete reconstruction, new infrastructure, concrete streets, curbs,
Yes, sir.
The entire thing.
It is. It's
along
sidewalks,
Woods
of course, curb and gutter. The street has very little curb and gutter, new water and sewer lines, and new drainage.
Yeah.
Or actually adding drainage. There's no drainage per se down there.
Okay. Councilmember Sutton, you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted, Mr. Fain, just to verify it. In the material we got, it looks like the CDBG estimated funding is about $125,000. That's about right, or is it right in
Yes,
that
sir.
ballpark?
That's what we're asking for. We don't know, obviously, the exact dollar amount. Haltom City's been very fortunate in the past that they usually allow us the amount of funding that we ask for, but we don't know the exact dollar amount.
Okay, great.
What we got this year was a bit less than that, so the 125 may be a little aggressive.
Okay.
But it is into the 6 digits.
Okay, thank you.
Some of that is dependent on the amount of federal dollars available that is apportioned out, and I've had the privilege the last 4 years of sitting on the committee that does that ranking, that makes the decision about how that's apportioned, and 115 to 135, I think, has been the range, depending on federal dollars that are given to the county for purposes like this to oversee. Okay, any other comment or question before I open the public hearing? Okay, there being none, I'll open the public hearing at this time for questions or comment from members of the audience regarding this project. Do we have anyone wishing to address the council? Okay, there being none, I'll close the public hearing at this time, and I'm ready now for a motion regarding this resolution on this community development block grant. Council Member Lanford, I believe, and then Council Member Sutton.
Move to approve Resolution R 2006-001-11.
Councilmember Sutton.
That's for a second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this resolution. Any discussion on the motion? If you will, register your vote, please. And it is a unanimous vote of the council to approve. Okay, we move now to the Visitor Citizens Forum. And this is the time in our meeting that is set aside for any person in the audience who has business before the council on an item that is not scheduled on the agenda to give them an opportunity to address the council. We have speakers' request forms that individuals fill out in preparation for that, and we have one that has been filled out tonight. And those who fill out the speakers' request forms are given 6 minutes. Other members of the audience who have not filled one out, if they'd like to address the council without prior notification, are given 3 minutes. All comments must be directed toward the presiding officer rather than to an individual council member or staff. Each speaker must limit his or her comments to the subject matter listed on the speaker's request form and must refrain from personal attacks toward any individual. Council cannot discuss or debate any item brought forth at this time, nor can any formal action be taken. Since the matters to be discussed presented by the speakers has not been posted as an agenda item in accordance with the open meetings law. Having said that, I recognize at this time Ms. Theda Riddle. If you will, Ms. Riddle, give us again your name. Please come to the podium. Give us your name and address for the record, and you have 6 minutes.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for hearing me tonight. My name is Theda Riddle. I live at 5729 Silver Lake Drive, and hopefully when I get through speaking, you won't think that I'm a flake. I have a cat problem. I have caught 8 cats in my yard the past year, and I still have about 12 cats in my yard that are roaming the neighborhood. They're in my trees, they climb the fence, and I'm really at a loss as what to do. Animal Control has been out twice. I had an officer out yesterday because my trap disappeared out of my yard. And I'm really at a loss as to what to do. And I'm hoping that the council will come up with some solution about solving this cat problem.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Riddle. Mr. Muir, do you have?
Can I ask a question? Whatever.
I'll let you ask a question. I'm going to
Stop me if I go too far.
He's nervous now.
How long has the problem been going on?
3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
And the cats are just strays, or the cats are?
The cats are strays, evidently, and I've had 2 litters born underneath my deck. And Animal Control came out tonight and did not stop at my house. They stopped at the house behind me, but
I guess your neighbors are experiencing a similar problem.
Well, they have cat houses in their shrubbery to house all of these cats.
And Animal Control is, I'm assuming they've set traps?
They're aware of this. No, they're just.
No. They're aware of it, but
they're aware of it. I don't know what has been done.
They have not been very responsive.
That's right.
Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. All right. You will be hearing from me or somebody from my staff
after
tomorrow.
talking to an officer yesterday, I said I thought I'd go to the council, and he suggested I do that. So
really, okay.
Thank you very much for hearing me.
Ms. Riddle, if this has been kind of awkward up here, it is.
It is awkward.
Because
it's awkward for me.
Well, we can't discuss this, and we can't have dialogue with you, so the city manager is trying to clarify a little bit of the information, and as he said, he can be in contact with you.
You'll be hearing from us.
Okay, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Riddle. Do we have anyone else in the audience who hadn't filled out a card who would like to address the council at this time? Mr. Eklund? I'm not going to go through the rules. You know what they are. You know the time limit's 3 minutes, so please identify yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. Happy New Year to everyone. I would like to, first off, we attended the Economic Development Corporation meeting recently, and I want to compliment the EDC or whoever was responsible, maybe some of the members at the last meeting, for the financial report that was presented to the members at the last one. I thought that was a step in the right direction for the EDC to start looking at those kinds of things on a regular basis. Hopefully they'll meet on a regular basis to review those. I think that's important to keep good stewardness on our funds. Okay? With that, I did have a question on your monthly report that y'all just received. We had under the Economic Development Corporation and Incentive Funds, page 6, there was a $28,592 expense for 1 month, which would have been November, for project administration. Now, unfortunately, I don't get to all the meetings and all, but I'm curious, that's a lot of money for 1 month for projects, and I don't know where the projects are. So I didn't know what we're doing with that, and I don't know if you can make a factual statement to that regard or not. Also, is there going to be a change or some problem with the crime control and prevention district appointments? Will we be doing that different, or is it okay the way we're doing it now with the council serving as both sides? Is there going to be that? It's going to be brought up.
There will be a future agenda item dealing with how that board is composed of.
Okay. So, anyway, so my question had to do with that, but I do appreciate the EDC coming forward a little bit with some public information. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Eklund, and any question you might have about the financial report, I'm sure Mr. Welch would be glad to answer that question if you can get with him at a later time. Anyone else in the audience wishing to address the council during this portion of our meeting? Mr. Moore, if you would give us your name and address for the record, and tell us what you give us a subject, and you have 3 minutes.
Jim Moore, I haven't moved in 6 minutes. It's just about kudos. It's just real nice just in leadership to see a little calm come over the city. And I think in a lot of different areas, there's just been some real good changes taking effect in the last year or so. And it's, starts at the top and trickles all the way down to the bottom. And I just want to thank everybody for a lot of hard work for nothing, since you don't make hardly anything. But just let y'all know we appreciate it. And it's a nice feeling in the city, I think. Some people are kind of upset once in a while, but I think overall, everybody that I have talked to, it's just there's been a lot of attitudes changed in the last year or so. So, thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Anyone else wishing to address the council at this time? Okay, there being none, we'll move then to item number 6, resignation of board members. Councilmember Sutton, I believe you have a resignation to bring forth at this time.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I've got a resignation. Deanne Russell from the Haltom City Parks and Recreation Board, and it's in a letter that I've showed to the council. So I'm asking for ratification.
Okay, Councilmember Sutton asking for ratification. If you will, members of the council, express your wishes regarding this request for ratification for this resignation. And it is a unanimous vote of the council to accept this. Do we have any other resignations? Okay, do we have any appointments or reappointments? Okay, there being none, item number 8, a moot issue. Since all of us are here, there's no need to excuse any absences. That being the case, the council will move at this time into executive session as authorized by the Texas Government Code section 551.071, .072, and .074 for discussion of items allowed under these sections of the law. The council will return here into open session to take any action on any item that's discussed in executive session. Yes, we do have a quorum. The time is 12 minutes to 9. The council, have you turned us on? Okay, the council is back in open session to take action on items that were discussed in open session. Council Member Hutchison, I think you have a motion regarding one of the items for executive session.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I make a motion that we reappoint Judge Kyle Knapp as our municipal judge for the years May 5.
Council Member Holcomb, I believe your light came on next.
Thank you, Mayor. That's for a second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the reappointment of Judge Knapp as our municipal judge. Any discussion? Okay, if you will register your vote. And it is a unanimous vote of the council. Congratulations, Judge Knapp. Thank you. And discussion? Your vote. And it is a unanimous vote of the council. Congratulations, Judge Knapp. Thank you. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we stand adjourned.